An Arctic blast is currently making its way towards the United Kingdom, a significant meteorological event that warrants our full and undivided attention. This is not just a passing cold snap or a few frosty mornings. It is a substantial mass of frigid air originating from the high Arctic, poised to sweep south across the entirety of the country. This movement of air will bring with it a dramatic and sustained drop in temperatures, pushing the mercury far below the seasonal average for late October. The impending cold is expected to be accompanied by a host of challenging weather conditions, including the potential for widespread snow, sleet, freezing rain, dangerously strong winds. The reason this pattern matters so profoundly: when temperatures plummet this sharply, the consequences can be far-reaching and multifaceted. Transportation networks are immediately compromised, healthcare systems face increased strain, and power and water utilities are put to the test. This essay will break down what is happening, explain impacts region by region, and provide clear, actionable guidance. The language is simple and direct, making this crucial information accessible to everyone, because preparation is our best defense. Understanding the scale of this event is the first step toward mitigating its effects. It can affect millions, from the most remote Scottish glen to the bustling heart of London. It challenges aging, vulnerable infrastructure. It shines a light on our most vulnerable, the elderly, young children, and those with pre-existing health conditions, who are disproportionately affected by severe cold. This event demands awareness and responsibility. A moment to look out for our neighbors. The following sections will demystify the science, detail regional threats, and offer a comprehensive guide to staying safe and secure. We will cover preparing your home, preparing your vehicle. So, what exactly is an Arctic blast, and why does it command such serious attention from meteorologists and public safety officials? In simple terms, an Arctic blast is a large, cohesive mass of extremely cold, dense air that originates over the polar regions, specifically the Arctic Circle. Under normal circumstances, this frigid air is largely contained in the far north by a strong jet stream, a high-altitude river of wind that circles the globe. But when the jet stream weakens or develops a significant kink, this can let a vast dome of cold air break free and surge south. It can invade latitudes that typically enjoy more temperate climates, like the United Kingdom. This is precisely what's unfolding today, 2025, October 29th. That mix of extreme cold plus new moisture is a potent recipe for hazardous winter precipitation. Depending on the temperature profile at different altitudes, it can become heavy snow, sharp-edged sleet, or freezing rain, the glaze that coats everything in ice. The sharp temperature contrast can also generate powerful gusty winds, creating a brutal wind chill that feels much colder than the thermometer. This event is notable because it's arriving early in the season. An Arctic blast in January is expected. Late October is not. Trees still have leaves, which makes branches prone to breaking under snow or ice, increasing the risk of downed trees and power outages. The ground isn't frozen yet, which can lead to flash flooding when rain falls on rapidly chilling Earth. That timing amplifies disruption. Public preparedness is often lower than in midwinter. This matters because of the direct threat to human health and critical infrastructure. Extreme cold strains the body, increasing risk of hypothermia, frostbite, and worsening chronic heart and lung conditions. It turns roads and railways into hazardous zones, cripples airports, and threatens power grids and water supplies. For the most vulnerable, the elderly, the very young, the homeless, and those with chronic illnesses, this is life-threatening, not just inconvenient. Scotland, by virtue of its geographical position as the northernmost part of the United Kingdom, will be the first to encounter the full force of this Arctic blast, and is expected to experience the most severe conditions. Scotland will be the first to encounter the full force of this Arctic blast. The initial impact will be a rapid and severe drop in temperatures across the entire country, but particularly in the Highlands and in the Grampian Mountains. These elevated regions are forecast to receive substantial and potentially immobilizing snowfalls. Blizzard-like conditions are possible as strong winds whip the falling snow, drastically reducing visibility. This creates a high probability that many rural roads could become impassable. The A9, the A96, and smaller B roads. Remote villages and hamlets could be effectively cut off for several days. Local councils and transport authorities across Scotland are already on high alert, mobilizing their fleets of gritters and snowplows. But their efforts will be prioritized on the major trunk roads and motorways that form the country's economic backbone. That pragmatic approach means secondary roads and residential streets may not be cleared for a considerable period. Furthermore, the combination of heavy wet snow and high winds places immense strain on the power network. Further south, northern England will not be spared, facing its own set of formidable challenges. Newcastle, Durham, Leeds, cities are bracing for a potent mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, which will make urban commuting exceptionally hazardous. The Pennines will act as a magnet for the heaviest snowfall. Transpennine routes like the M62 and the A66. These routes will be treacherous and subject to closures. Drivers should anticipate long delays and heed police advice, which will likely urge people to avoid all but the most essential travel. The focus for road maintenance crews will be on keeping these key arteries open. But drivers should be prepared for the worst. School closures are highly probable, particularly in Cumbria, Northumberland, and County Durham. Train services, especially those crossing higher ground, are likely to be reduced or cancelled altogether. Check with operators like Elner and Transpennine Express. The Midlands, positioned in the geographical heart of England, is set to experience a complex and varied assault from this Arctic weather system. While the region may not see the same crippling depths of snow as the far north, it is on a precarious boundary line where cold air will clash with slightly milder air from the south. This creates a high potential for a messy mix of precipitation, sleet, freezing rain, which can be even more dangerous than snow. Roads and pavements across cities like Birmingham, Nottingham, Leicester could quickly become coated in a thin, almost invisible layer of black ice, making conditions extremely slippery and treacherous for both drivers and pedestrians. Commuting is likely to become a slow and frustrating ordeal. Another specific concern for the Midlands is the risk of localized flooding. Power cuts are also a distinct possibility, particularly in more rural parts of Shropshire and Derbyshire, where overhead power lines face ice accumulation and gusty winds. Across in Wales, the impacts will be heavily dictated by elevation and proximity to the coast. The higher ground of Snowdonia and the Brecon Beacons is forecast to receive significant snowfall, making rural routes hazardous and potentially isolating some upland farming communities. For these areas, the challenges will be similar to those faced in the Scottish Highlands, with a focus on livestock welfare and access for emergency services. In contrast, coastal areas in Pembrokeshire and the Gower Peninsula are more likely to face a barrage of icy rain and ferocious winds whipping in from the Irish Sea. This will create dangerous coastal conditions with high waves and significant sea spray, making coastal paths and promenades unsafe. For both the Midlands and Wales, the key is to be prepared for unpredictability. Transport for Wales has already indicated that some rail services, particularly on the scenic but exposed Heart of Wales line, may be subject to disruption. Ferry services from Welsh ports like Holyhead and Fishguard could also be delayed or cancelled due to rough seas. Emergency services will be on high alert. Residents should keep a close watch on updates from Natural Resources Wales and the Environment Agency. Section 5. London and the South East, a capital under ice. While London and the South East may escape the heavy snow accumulations predicted for the north, the region faces a unique and potentially paralyzing set of challenges from the Arctic blast. The primary threat here is not the depth of snow, but the widespread formation of ice. Even a light dusting of snow, or a period of freezing rain, can, turn the capital's sprawling network of roads, pavements, platforms, into a dangerous skating rink. The sheer density of the population and the reliance on a finely tuned public transport system mean that even minor disruptions can cascade into widespread chaos. Commuters should brace for a significantly slower and more difficult journey into and out of the city. The intricate transport network is the region's Achilles heel in this type of weather. Transport for London will be deploying its fleet of gritters on major routes, but the thousands of miles of smaller residential streets will remain untreated and hazardous. Bus services may be diverted, delayed, curtailed entirely on safety grounds. The London Underground, while largely protected from the elements, can suffer from ice on exposed sections of track, Metropolitan Line, District Line. National rail services feeding into the capital's major termini like Waterloo, Victoria, Paddington, are highly susceptible to ice-related signal failures and frozen points, leading to a domino effect of cancellations and delays across the entire Southeast. Air travel, a cornerstone of the Southeast's economy, is also facing severe disruption. Major international hubs like Heathrow, Gatwick, Stansted will be forced to implement de-icing procedures for all departing aircraft. a time-consuming process that inevitably leads to a backlog of flights. Reduced visibility from freezing fog, and the need to keep runways and taxiways clear of ice will likely result in a significant number of delays and cancellations. Travelers with flights booked during this period are strongly urged to check the status of their flight with their airline before setting out for the airport, and to allow a great deal of extra time for their journey. For the millions of residents in London and the surrounding home counties, the advice is to exercise extreme caution. The fast-paced nature of city life often leads people to rush, but this is a time to slow down. Simple trips to the shops or the walk to the station can become hazardous. The Greater London Authority and local councils will be working to keep essential services running, but residents must be prepared for a city operating at a much slower pace. Stay safe. The integrity of our power and water utilities is one of the most critical concerns during a severe Arctic blast. The combination of high winds, heavy snow, and ice accumulation places an immense strain on the national grid. Overhead power lines are particularly vulnerable. The weight of ice and snow can cause them to sag and snap. Gale-force winds can bring down trees and branches onto the lines, causing widespread outages. Rural and remote areas, where power lines often cross miles of exposed terrain, are at the highest risk. Energy companies like National Grid and regional distribution operators are moving to a heightened state of alert, pre-positioning engineering teams and equipment in areas forecast to be worst hit. In the event of a power cut, the impact can be immediate and severe, especially in the freezing temperatures. Residents are strongly advised to prepare a simple emergency kit: multiple torches with spare batteries, avoiding candles due to the fire risk, a battery-powered or wind-up radio to receive updates, and fully charged power banks for mobile phones. Keeping mobile phones charged is crucial for communication and for accessing information from your energy supplier's website, which will provide updates on the location of faults and estimated restoration times. It is also wise to have a supply of blankets and warm clothing readily accessible to stay warm without central heating. The nation's water supply is equally at risk, but the threat is often more hidden and localized. The primary danger comes from frozen pipes. When water freezes, it expands, and this expansion can exert enough pressure to crack or burst pipes, both the external supply pipes leading to your home and the internal plumbing within it. A burst pipe can cause extensive and costly water damage, and if it occurs on the main supply, it can leave an entire street or neighborhood without water. Water companies are urging households to take preventative measures now, such as insulating any exposed pipes in attics, basements, or outside walls with foam lagging, which can be purchased cheaply from DIY stores. A simple yet highly effective trick to prevent pipes from freezing solid is to leave a single tap, preferably one far from where the water enters the house, running at a very slow trickle overnight. If you do wake up to find you have no water, check with a neighbor first to see if it is a wider issue. If your pipes are frozen, you can try to thaw them gently with a hairdryer, starting from the tap end and working back. Never use a naked flame. Having a store of bottled water for drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene is a sensible precaution for every household during this cold spell. Keep warm layers accessible until the freeze passes. The severe cold brought by an Arctic blast poses a direct threat to personal health. Taking proactive steps to stay warm and safe is paramount. The cold increases the risk of heart attacks and strokes. It causes blood vessels to constrict and the heart to work harder. Avoid strenuous outdoor activity. For example, shoveling heavy snow, especially if you're not used to it or have health conditions. When you must go outside, dress appropriately. Wear several thin layers rather than one thick layer, as this traps air and insulates better. Always wear a hat, a scarf, and gloves. Much body heat is lost through the head and extremities. Inside the home, keep a safe, consistent temperature. Heat main living room to about 21 degrees, 70 degrees. Heat the rest of your home to at least 18 degrees, 64 degrees. If heating costs worry you, heat the rooms you use most. At night, draw curtains and close doors to trap heat. Check heating appliances for safety. Keep portable heaters away from furniture and curtains. Never use them to dry clothes. Never use a gas cooker or oven to heat your home. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless poison. Dangerous if it builds up. Look out for others: elderly neighbors, friends, relatives, people with long-term health conditions, and young children. A phone call or quick safe visit can ensure they're warm and have food and meds. Direct vulnerable people to local assistance schemes if needed. Icy pavements increase slips and fractures risk. Wear sturdy footwear with good grip. For non-life-threatening issues, Use the NHS 111 service by phone or online. For serious emergencies or signs of heart attack, stroke, or hypothermia, shivering, pale cold skin, confusion, slurred speech, call 999 immediately. While our immediate focus is rightly on navigating the next few days safely, it is important to recognize that a severe weather event like this Arctic blast can have lingering consequences that extend long after the snow has melted and temperatures have returned to normal. The disruption to our transport networks, for instance, will not simply vanish overnight. The backlog of canceled flights and train services can take several days to clear, leading to continued travel headaches for passengers. On the roads, the freeze-thaw cycle that follows a cold spell can wreak havoc on tarmac, creating a proliferation of potholes that will require costly and time-consuming repairs by local councils in the weeks and months to come. The economic impact can also be substantial and multifaceted. For businesses, particularly in the retail and hospitality sectors, a few days of forced closures or dramatically reduced footfall can result in significant financial losses. Supply chains can be disrupted, delaying the delivery of goods to shops and raw materials to factories. For the agricultural sector, the consequences can be particularly harsh. Livestock care under stress and damage to overwintering crops, potentially impacting future harvests and prices. On a personal level, burst pipes can mean extensive cleanup, drying structures, replacing carpets and belongings, and navigating complex insurance claims. We are facing a serious and disruptive weather event, but one that can be managed with calm, informed action. The key takeaway is that preparation is your most powerful tool. The time to act is now, before the worst of the Arctic blast arrives. Your immediate priority: ensure your home is ready for plunging temperatures. Check your heating is working. Locate your main water stopcock. Insulate any vulnerable pipes you can access. Assemble a small home emergency kit. Pack torches, pack batteries, pack a first aid kit, pack extra blankets. Stock non-perishable food. Stock bottled water. Aim for supplies to last at least 3 days. The second part, travel and communication. Postpone non-essential journeys. If you must travel, check the Met Office. Check National Rail travel updates. Check local highway authority updates. If driving, ensure your vehicle is fit for conditions. Fill the tank with fuel. Carry a winter car kit, warm blanket, food, water, a torch, and a fully charged phone. Keep your mobile and a portable power bank fully charged. Make a list of important phone numbers: your energy supplier power cut hotline, your local council emergency number, NHS 111. The most important action: people. This is a time for community solidarity. Identify vulnerable neighbors, the elderly, those who live alone, families with very young children. Make a plan to check on them, even if it's just a phone call. Share information and offer a helping hand. It can make a life or death difference. Look up local warm banks. Look up community centers offering shelter and support. Share that information with those who need it. Finally, stay informed through official channels. Do not rely on rumor or social media speculation. Reliable sources: the Met Office, local council and utility company websites, the NHS for health advice. By preparing your home, planning your movements, checking on your neighbors, and staying informed, you can reduce the risks. Stay warm, stay safe, and look out for one another. That is how we will get through this together.